I thought I would do another brief commentary on a couple of passages from the Lankavatara Sutra. I'll reference the specific volume I'm reading from in the description of this video. It's in Chapter 2, Section 26, where the Buddha is saying, quote, "The bodhisattvas who are thoroughly acquainted with the nature of the Citta, Manas, and Manovijñana, of the 5 Dharmas, of the 3 Svabhas, and of the 2 egolessness, will assume various personalities for the sake of benefiting others, just like the imagination that evolves from the seat of the relativity knowledge, and again, like the mysterious gem that reflects varieties of colors." So without, again, getting into what are these different components, let's reference it back to the Sutra of Innumerable Meanings, as well as the Chapter 2 on skillful means within the Lotus Sutra, where basically the Buddha is saying that, when the bodhisattva attains insight or wisdom to a certain extent and realizes the egolessness of all dharmas or all phenomena, then, he or she has freedom to, as I think it says in some passages of the Lotus Sutra, play within the world in such a way that he or she can take on various personalities with the agenda, of course, of helping sentient beings with their suffering. And when that occurs, in addition to doing those acts of salvation, the bodhisattvas also, according to the Lanka, go over to all the Buddha lands and assemblages. The bodhisattvas will listen to the Buddhas, discourse on the nature of all things which are like a vision, a dream, an illusion, a reflection, and the lunar vision in water, and which have nothing to do with birth and death, eternality, and extinction. So remember the last verse section of the Diamond Sutra, where the disciple asks the Buddha, when you're gone, because he's about to die, how are we to communicate your teaching to others? And he says to contemplate it as basically a vision, a dream, an illusion. So the Lanka goes on in this section to say that the bodhisattvas, thus facing the Tathagatas, will listen to their discourses on the truth that does not belong to the Sravakas and Pratyeka Buddha vehicle. So again, here we have the Mahayana Sutra, or teaching, basically distinguishing itself as a reform movement vis-a-vis the earlier Theravadan school, or school of the elders, that's described within the Pali Canon. And it goes on to say they will then attain 100,000 samadhis, indeed 100,000 nyotis of kotis of samadhis, and by means of these samadhis they will go around from one country to another. They will do homage to the Buddhas, be born in all the celestial mansions, where they will discourse on the triple treasure, manifesting Buddha bodies, and, surrounded by Sravakas and Bodhisattvas, they will, in order to free them from the alternatives of being and non-being, instruct them to understand thoroughly what is meant by an objective world, which is nothing but mind itself, and in which there are no realities. Now, this is where we hit against the what I understand to be the Yogacara school that Vasubandhu preached. It was a mind-only school. And, this is again a device, a skillful means. And to demonstrate that, now here we have the Bodhisattvas having been encouraged and described as having reached this level where they can assist other beings, where they can listen to the Buddhas, where they can teach the Dharma, and they're encouraged basically to establish themselves in the insight of sunyata, or emptiness. But then, what does the Lankavatara say about emptiness? And this is where, again, we get into the contradiction, the paradox, the irony of the impossibility of being able to utilize words to describe the truth, because in the very next section, section 27, we have the Buddha saying, quote, emptiness, emptiness indeed. Mahamati, it is a term whose self-nature is false imagination. Because of one's attachment to false imagination, Mahamati, we have to talk of emptiness, no birth, non-duality, and absence of self-nature. So, wow, there we have it, that emptiness itself, sunyata, any words that are used to describe non-duality, any of these things that seem so profound and inspire us to get a glimpse of some more basic reality beyond the mundane world that we ordinarily experience, is a device, an illusion, a raft that gets us to the other shore but is not to be taken with us. And of course, what do we discover is that we're right back in that mundane world, in a sense, of eyes, ears, nose, mouth, body, and mind. Or the flip side of sunyata, from a positive perspective, which is suchness, the here and now awareness of this reality, which right now is the only reality. There's nothing more profound than this.